G'day legends. I'm stoked to be sharing a fairly new plugin from Musik Hack called Fuel. This is an awesome plugin for just adding excitement, color, and grit to any sound. Make things a lot louder, a lot more saturated. It's just a really cool exciter style plugin. That's how I would put this. This plugin can add a ton of excitement to any sound that you put it on. So check this out. We've just a couple of instances of Fuel across this mix. Just have a listen to the way that it's lifted it. Just made it sound way more exciting. So it's pretty crazy what a couple of instances of Fuel has done to this mix. It's just really lifted it up, added a ton of excitement to it, and it just makes it sound way more hyped. So let's check out where I'm using Fuel in the mix and just why I think this is such a cool plugin for just adding a bunch of hype. So the first place, of course, is our snare drum. It makes the snare sound bigger and louder and more exciting. So we've got a couple of knobs here to tweak. It's quite a simple plugin. It's really easy to dial in a sound. And basically I'm just pushing in a bit of compression, which does add some nice aggressiveness to the sound. A little bit of that sounds really nice. Bit of low end with the bass, and then we are also using some soft clip. Check this out. So that adds some nice grit and aggression to the sound. And then we've also got a limiter so we can push up a little bit of loudness. And then I pulled the trim down about 6 dBs to level match this. So even though it sounds louder when we bypass it, the actual peak volume is the same. So that's what's cool about this. It really hypes the sound, makes it sound way louder than it actually is. Here it takes away kind of the pokiness of the snare and it just makes it sound big. It's just really saturated, sounds cool, makes the snare sound way bigger in the mix. I'm also using this on our kick, so check this out as well. So again, it's making the kick sound bigger. It's also making it sound a lot thicker as well. We're pushing that bass pretty hard. Have a listen to how nice this bass sounds as you crank it up. You can really bring in this really nice thump to the sound, which is awesome. Particularly loving soft clip on drums. I think it sounds great. Just tames the transient a little bit, adds a bit of grit to the sound. I think it makes the kick sound a lot bigger in the mix as well. So you don't have to add clipping and saturation to everything that you do. You can just use this as a limiter as well, which is what I'm doing on the drum bus. I've got it in Unity mode, so we're not adding any extra level, and I'm pushing the gain up about 8.5 dBs, shaving off a couple of dBs off of the drum bus. So this means that we can make our mix a little bit louder. But what's cool about this is it's pretty transparent. See if you can hear much difference as we bypass this off and on. That sounds really transparent to me. I can't hear that that is shaving off a couple of dBs off the drum bus, which is awesome. Now, a plugin like this is always great to use in parallel. So we're using this as our parallel drum processing. So I'm absolutely hitting it hard with the compressor. Got a little bit of bass pushed into it, a little bit of thickness. And then we've just pulled the mix knob back to about 71% and then just pulled the gain down a touch. So it's adding this really cool, aggressive pumping sound to the mix, which I think sounds awesome. So we just blend that in with our kit. Yeah, it's just adding this nice blooming sound to the kit. That compressor and the way that it pumps just sounds really cool in parallel. Have a listen to what it sounds like when we crank the thick knob up on this parallel processing. It's really cool. It definitely makes it sound thicker. Now, of course, plugins like this always sound great on drums, but this sounds really good on bass as well. So it's making the bass track way less dynamic. It's really pinning it in place. We're getting some nice low end out of this, and we're also getting a bit of extra grit. Now I'm using the OTT compressor on this one, so this is just adding this really cool hype to the sound. Have a listen to what it sounds like when we crank this up. Just adds this really cool excitement to it. There's also a body slider here. It kind of hypes the low mid, so if you're lacking a bit of body, that's a cool thing as well. And also the crunch slider. This is cool. I've got it on 2%. Have a listen to how much this adds to the sound. It's cool. It's real gritty, but the soft clip is magic on this. That bass knob is just making this bass sound nice and fat, which is great. I love the way that sounds. Love the way this is hyping the bass up. Electric guitars, they were just sounding a little bit like mid-rangey and just lacking a little bit of excitement on the top end and the low end. Just needed a little bit of just hyping up, and this did the trick. You know how it takes away kind of like the murkiness that the guitars had, that little bit of muddiness that was in there? This is just making them sound a bit better balanced and a bit more exciting. Pushing that little bit of low end, it's definitely making the guitar sound thicker. Adding a little bit of the OTT is adding that hype to the top end, which is really cool. That little bit of airiness that it's adding sounds great. And then of course the clipper and the limiter adding some loudness, and again, a little bit of grittiness to it. It's making a dramatic difference, especially in the mix. It takes away this muddy element that was there.
There's no one here for you to hold.
Now vocals, this is really making the vocals sound heaps better, making them shine in the mix way more. That OTT compressor just adds the airy detail that these vocals were missing. And then we're bringing in a little bit of body, a little bit of thickness, which is just making the vocals sound nice and full. And then also a little bit of soft clipping, just adds a little bit of attitude, a little bit of grittiness to it, a little bit of limiting as well. And then just pulled the mix knob back to 60% and it just sounded really nice.
I used to look for ways to shut the world out until I felt the wind on my skin, felt alive in the world I live in. Clouds parted, the daylight killed the hurt in me. I'm stronger now than I thought I could be.
Similar to the guitars, listen to the way that the mid-range shifts from having this kind of muddiness, little cloudiness in it, to just being a lot more open, nice and present. Just sounds like a better balance, a little bit more exciting, which suits this kind of style where you want everything to just be nice and upfront, nice and exciting. This is killing it.
Leave your hate where you found it. I'm not the heart to fight it. I'll see this through.
I think that sounds so good. So just a really easy way to like hype a sound and just make it a little bit more exciting. Couple little knobs to tweak. It's not really complicated parameters. You don't have frequency ranges or anything like that to play with. It's literally just turn a couple of dials and find something that sounds good. Plugins like this are a lot of fun to use and they don't require you being over analytical. It's all about using your ears, play with a couple of parameters, and you'll definitely be able to get a really great sound out of this. So again, the full mix with and without Fuel. So there you have it, guys. That is Fuel by Musik Hack, a super cool exciter style plugin. It wears many hats. It can be a limiter, it can be a saturator, it can be an exciter, it can be a clipper. It's got a lot of stuff under its belt, but that's the way I would think of it. Just an exciter plugin, a way to hype sounds up and just make them sound way bigger, way more exciting than they actually are. If you're curious about this plugin and you want to test it out for yourself, there's a link in the description below. Head over to Musik Hack's site, grab a copy of it, add some fuel to one of your mixes. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and if you want to support this channel, check out the link in the description below to my website. I have a range of drum samples and mixing courses over there. Grabbing any of that stuff is a massive support for the time that goes into making content like this. If you want to check out an awesome all-in-one style mastering plugin from Musik Hack, then check out this next video coming up.